Today we're going to be talking about how to play the fingerstyle version of Great Is Thy Faithfulness, and we're going to be following along with the version that I recorded, and you can click on the link in the description below to go check that out if you want to hear how it sounds all together. And so we're going to be walking through this step by step. There's going to be chord diagrams in the corner so you can follow along and see the fingerings exactly as I'm doing them in the video that I made. And we're going to be using key of G shapes, and so that's how I'm going to be referring to things, though realize that we are actually in the key of C, but for the sake of this video we're going to just pretend that this capo is the nut of the guitar, and I'm going to be referring to frets based on this as the nut. So if I have a finger here, it's going to be fret 3 because it's 3 up from the capo. But if you want to play this in a different key, all you have to do is move your capo up, down. You can go all the way open. The reason I did it capo 5 was just for singing in the video, so it was in a good key for me to sing. But you can play it wherever you'd like using these shapes. So let's go ahead and jump in. We're going to go right to the intro. So the intro is something that I added into the song just to give something that happens between each verse. It's not part of the original. But here's the intro. I'm going to show you what it looks like and what it sounds like, and then we're going to break it down piece by piece. So basically like that. So let's go ahead and break this down. And again, you can be looking at those diagrams of the chords as we go. And so I'm not going to be super detailed about every fingering and every fret position, but just kind of give the idea because you can see those in the corner and get exactly what it is. So as we start, we're going to start with our second finger on the 3rd fret here, kind of creating a G, an open G shape. And remember, we're referring to the capo as the nut, so this is fret 3 here. That's how we're talking about it. Alright, so we're going to open with that, and then we're going to walk up with our 1st finger and our 3rd finger on the 2nd string like this. And we also move up to the C shape at the same time, C bass note here, as we bring that 3rd finger up. So, just like that. And then we're going to move to like an inverted B shape. We're going to put the B in the bass of our G chord, and we're going to make a major 7. Up on top with our 2nd finger coming up here. Then we're going to bring our pinky up and then go open with that 1st string is open as we come back to that C shape again, right there. And then we come back and we repeat, coming back up, walking up to the C shape there, going to the inverted B, major 7. And then the 2nd time we have this little bit of a stretch with the pinky. We're going to go like this. So the pinky stretches out from that B major 7, and we slide it in. So we're not going to lift up and move it back. We're actually gonna slide that note down. Okay, so like that, and then we land on that C shape right there. So that's how the intro goes. Let's go ahead and play through it slowly. Try to follow along if you're ready to. So just like that. Alright, so let's go ahead and jump into a verse. So let me go ahead and play it through for you once so you can see it and hear what it sounds like, and then we'll go ahead and break it down piece by piece. So the verse begins like this. And this time we're starting with our 3rd finger up here. So that's basically how the verse goes. And I apologize, I have some rattling going on inside my guitar. I'm trying to figure out what that is. So let's go ahead and break it down now a little bit at a time. So in the intro, we started with our 2nd finger here on an open G shape. But for the verse, we're going to need to have our 3rd finger there to make things a little bit easier for us. And fingering is super important when you're playing things that are a little bit more involved, like this fingerstyle arrangement, because if your fingering isn't right, you're going to get all bound up trying to jump from one thing to the next. So here we go. Let's take a look at the verse. We're going to start third finger on the 3rd fret for our open G shape here. And then we're going to create this kind of cool augmented chord with our 1st finger down here on the 1st fret of the 4th string. Like that. And then we're going to jump up to kind of like a C major 7 here. And then the 1st finger is going to come down underneath on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string. So we have that kind of open C shape. It's as if you were making like a traditional C shape like this, but we're going to lift that finger off, let it be a major 7, and then we're going to use that 1st finger to come in underneath the 2nd finger here on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string. Alright? And then we're going to move up to kind of like as if it was a D7 shape here, but we're not using that finger right now. And we lift off our 2nd finger, and then as we bring it back on, we're going to use pinky on the 3rd fret of that 2nd string. So all together. And then for that one, we're just going to bring our ring finger down for that G bass note here. And then we lift our fingers off. So that whole section there. Like that. And then we're going to continue with the C shape. And then we're going to pick up our middle finger, come up to the 2nd fret on the 1st string, like that. So from there, we're going from that C shape to a G over B. So the B is in the bass. And our pinky's up on 3 here. And we're going to go to an A minor 7 right here as we walk by. So that's with our 2nd finger, 2nd fret of the 4th string, 1st finger, 1st fret of the 2nd string. We're going to be open on the others. And then we go to that open G again, like we've used earlier. And then we're going to go to like an A5, just 3 notes right there. And then an E major chord. And then an A7. And then like a D5 right here. We're just not using the top of the D. Just like that. So that section is that A5 to the E major, A7 to that D5 right there. And then we're going to continue on from that D5 again. And we get that D2, so we hit that open E. And then we're going to that D7 shape again. So we're going to kind of an open G here, but now we have our pinky on top for the melody note. And so we're just going to walk that down. So pinky to 2nd finger to open, and then pinky comes down to the 2nd string on the 3rd fret there. And then we're going to go back to that A minor 7 shape. And then an open G, but with the B in the bass. And then this one's kind of cool. We're going to go to a C shape, traditional C shape, but we're going to start open, and then we're going to hammer it on like that. So we start with the C on the bass, but then all 3 of these strings, the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th strings open, and then hammer those 2 fingers on. And then we have to bring this 2nd finger. It's actually going to be getting 2 notes at once, which is a little tricky. So we're going to hammer on, and then let this finger lay down onto that next note right there, which is pretty cool. And then we're going to go to this cool diminished chord up here. And so this one, we're going to be up on 4 with our 1st finger and our 2nd finger on strings 5 and 3. And then we're going to be on fret 5 with our 3rd and pinky on strings 4 and 2. And this is actually not just a diminished chord, it also has the minor 7 in it, but pretty cool chord. And this one will take a little bit of a stretch as well, and that's okay if it takes time. So we're going to play that right there, and then our pinky's going to come out here up to that 7th fret. And then we're going to go up to a bar here. Our 1st finger is going to get this bass note, and it's also going to get the very top note up here on the 1st string on the 3rd fret. So pinky walks up, and then we go up to the first finger on that 3rd fret on the 1st string. So like this, one more time. And then we're going to switch entirely to our pinky there. Just like that. So we're going to come down, we're going to have that open shape. It's like a G open shape, except we're using the D as our bass note there. So 4th string. Then bring the 3rd finger underneath, and then just these 3 notes here, the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th string, all open. And then 2nd finger is going to come down to there, and we're back to an open G shape, but we're only using the 3 notes, so our highest note is on the 3rd string there. So that's how the verse goes. Let's go ahead and play through it slowly, and you can try to follow along. So here we go. Goes like this. And then we'd move on to the chorus. One thing I forgot to mention is when we get into that D in the middle, I do just that little hammer-on pull-off. And it's not a big deal, it's just the 2nd finger. I'm going to pluck the string open, hammer on, and then pull off like that. So if you'd like to add that in, you can, but it's just a little flourish there. So, okay, so let's go ahead and jump to the chorus now. So the chorus, let me go ahead and play it through for you so you can hear what it sounds like and see what it looks like, and then we'll break it down. So chorus is going to start up on this D shape here. It's going to sound like this. And then that would head back into an intro again. But so that's how the chorus goes. So you can see there's some similarities. There's a number of things different too, but there's a few pieces that are very similar to as what's in the verse. So let's go ahead and break it down. So we're going to start with that D5 shape here. So it's like a D chord, a traditional D chord, but we're not going to use the top because our melody note is right there on the 2nd string. So we're going to start with that. And then we're going to go to a G in the bass. And it's going to be like over a C chord here. So if you had your C chord, traditional C chord like this, but we're going to move this finger down to the G in the bass. And we're going to start with those together and then open it up to the open G shape. So, like that. Then we're going to go to the E major shape. And we're up on the top note for a melody on the 1st string. The melody comes down the next string, and we're going to go to an A minor, traditional A minor chord, but we're going to bring pinky up for our melody onto fret 3 there on the 2nd string, and then immediately drop it down to the 1st finger there, and then back to the D shape, and then to the D7 shape like that, like we did before in the verse. But this time we're going to go to a pinky on the top and 2nd finger down on that G note because we need our 3rd finger to come in here for the melody. So, and then we're going to walk up to that open note on the 1st string. And now we're back to a D shape, but we're going to use an A in the bass here. So, and we're going to keep the A in the bass as we go to pinky here, like an open G shape, but with an A in the bass. And then the A7 shape, and then back to a D5. Then we're going to continue on, back to that D7, So now we're here again, but back with the third finger, because we need our second finger for melody coming underneath on the first string. We're going to walk it down, and then we're going to go to that A minor 7 shape, the B with the G with the B in the bass, and that same C shape with the hammer on like we did in the verse. And then we're going to go up to that diminished chord again, just like in the verse. So that's all just like the verse, but then we're just going to be slightly different at the end. So now we're going to go up, and then we're going to come down with our pinky and our third finger to get this right here. And then back down to an open G with our melody on that third string. So let's play through that ending one more time like this. So we're starting at that diminished chord. So just like the verse here. And then it changes. And then we're back to the intro. Alright, cool. So let's go ahead and play through it slowly and try to play along if you can. We're just going to take it slow. Here it comes. So here's the chorus. So that's how the chorus section goes. And if this is really difficult for you, that is okay. Don't feel bad. It takes a lot of time. It took me probably weeks as I was working on this to get this to come together to where I could play it through. And there's still parts that I struggle with a little bit if I'm not really paying attention. You might have even seen me as I was playing through that chorus slowly. I wanted to go to the wrong fingering at one point and had to correct myself. So give it time. Just keep working at it. It's not something that's going to come right away if you're not used to playing fingerstyle guitar, but I hope you stick with it. And again, once you've kind of gone through this and you feel like you're getting it together, then you can go ahead and follow along with the video that I made of playing through this whole song and see if you can play along and play through at full speed with it. And if you enjoyed this video and if it helped you to learn how to play this song and taught you a little something, I hope that you'll hit like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day.
Great is thy faith.